Hey again, it's Monday, December 2nd, and I am back to ship out my sales from over the weekend. Last week was Thanksgiving. This video will be coming out a couple weeks after Thanksgiving, but I hope you guys all had a really great time with your family. And my sales ended up being pretty good this weekend. So I had one sale on Saturday afternoon, and then I didn't have any sales until Sunday night. And I went through and I marked down a lot of items. I sent out aggressive offers, 40% off on quite a few items, and that resulted in 5 more sales. So I'm very happy about that. The first item, oh, and I sold a couple of belts. You guys who are OG followers know that I used to sell belts really well, but it's kind of slowed down. So that was one of the things I went through, and I reduced the prices on all of my women's belts. And probably tonight or tomorrow, I'm going to go through and reduce prices on all of my men's belts. And I just did 10% reduction, but right now Poshmark is running a discounted shipping when you reduce by at least 10%. And even if your item has no likers, it will then show up when a buyer goes to look at it that it has discounted shipping. So I thought I'd take advantage of that. So the first item is this cute little skinny belt. It kind of has some decorations on it. It ended up selling for $29, I believe, with discounted shipping. I paid about $3 for this. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $20.20. I'm just fine with that. I am excited to move a couple of belts out because, as I've mentioned recently, I have quite a few listed and I have a few that still need to be listed. So it looks like I just will need to maybe price my belts a little bit lower or really take a look at what keywords I'm using to make sure that I'm getting my belts as many views as possible. Okay, the next item, another belt. This is just kind of, it's a leather, it's kind of a mock croc print, and it is from Talbot's. I do believe that this is an older piece, maybe from the 90s or 2000s. I just picked it up because it was genuine leather and it had that mock croc print. It ended up selling for $20. This is one that I reduced and then the buyer made me an offer and I just accepted it. I am back to going with, it is the tis the season of sales, and so I am accepting offers. And I was thinking about it, and we've talked about before thinking and talking positively, and I feel like since I've been saying tis the season of sales, I'm getting more sales. So I'm just going to continue to speak positive and think positive. I paid about $3 for this, so that made my profit $13. That is just fine. I'm happy to move it out. So this is the sale that I had on Saturday afternoon, and I'm very excited because, again, those of you who have followed me for a while know that I have had some pretty great luck with Carhartt items, and I kind of thought that they were a little bit too saturated to get good prices, and while that may be true, I ended up selling this beat-up Carhartt vest for $80. As you can see there, it has dirty marks and paint marks. Definitely a work vest. And I used keywords like well-worn, distressed, destroyed, workwear, streetwear, anything that I could think of. And it always surprises me when I'm still able to sell these very worn items for good prices. The thing is that, people want this look, and brands will try and distress items and recreate this worn look. But the fact of the matter is that you can't get this genuine look without actually getting an item that was worked in and well worn. So whenever I see these, particularly Carhartt, there may be other brands that I'm not aware of that do well with this distressed look. If you are aware of other brands that we should all keep our eyes out for, make a comment below so we can all learn other things to look for. This item I picked up at an estate sale. I only paid $5 for it, so that made my profit $59. It did take a few months to sell. I had it listed for $89, and I love it when buyers make me reasonable offers. This buyer offered me $80. This is the same estate sale that I got the Filson coat at that I recently sold. What did I sell that for? For over $400, I think. And I paid, I think, $25 for that one. So that ended up being a really great sale to hit up, because I also got 2 Pendleton jackets from there. Let's see, is this, I might have to do that off camera. I don't know if that's gonna fit in there or not. But a really great profit, and this is one of those sales that I got to late. And I thought, oh, there's not gonna be anything left, and they were just bringing out these 4 pieces, and I bought them all. So the next item, not quite so exciting. It's this beautiful men's leather coat, and the leather is so buttery soft. This is the brand which I had never heard of before, but I picked it up at a fill the bag type sale, and my average cost of goods ended up being about $1.50 to $2. So I definitely thought it was worth it, but this has been listed right at about a year, and I got an offer for $30, which isn't what I originally wanted to get for it, but I still made a profit. And like I said, I'm accepting offers to keep the momentum going, you know, move out some of these bulky coats. This just isn't something that I think I want to, or I know I don't want to hold on to this through the winter and summer again. I just don't think it's that special of a piece to where I really want to hold out for a high price. So like I said, I paid about $2 for this. So that made my profit $22. Not a home run, but that's just fine for a $2 investment. And it's thinning out, you know, my bulky coat rack. I've mentioned this before. I'm trying not to buy coats and clothing, but it's a bad habit for me. Well, I don't know. It's part of my business to thrift and find things that I can make a profit on. But when I have too much stuff already, then maybe it's a bad habit to keep buying. Okay, so did I say my profit was $22? I am happy to move that out. The next item is a pair of Nike snowboarding pants, and these are just a nice powder blue color. I could not find the like style name for these, so I'm not sure if that's maybe why they took a little longer to sell, or I think I bought them at the end of the season or the end of winter last year, and so I think I just missed the season. Anyways, I got an offer, or I sent out offers to likers, one of the two, but they sold for $39, I think with discounted shipping. And like I said, these have been listed close to a year. So I am ready to move them out. And I paid about $6 for these. Sorry, I needed a bigger piece of paper to cover these. I'm fumbling a little bit. So that made my profit $22.22. Is that right? $8.32 with discounted shipping. I don't know. That doesn't seem quite like enough, but somewhere around $20 or $25. That's just fine. Get them out. I had kind of a hectic weekend because, like I said, last week was Thanksgiving. Then it was my birthday, which was wonderful. My husband really spoiled me. Not with gifts, but with, you know, doing things for me and taking me out to dinner. We are going to Hawaii, and that is part of my birthday gift. But it was really a wonderful birthday, except for the fact that I got to the shop on Friday evening and my bathroom floor was covered in water. It turns out my toilet was leaking. So we had to go buy a new toilet, and he did all the stuff to replace that for me, which was wonderful that he took care of that for me. And it's all fixed now, but you know, just kind of disappointing and a little stressful when things break that you don't want to. And my building rent is very, very affordable here, but not all parts of the building are covered. So I didn't even call the landlord, but I might call and see if he'll reimburse me for the toilet. We'll just see. But I'm happy to have the reasonable rent in exchange for having to do some of my own maintenance. Okay, the next item that sold is just this vintage, simple little tweed skirt, probably from the 1950s or 60s. The only reason I picked this up was because it was $1 on the last day of an estate sale. I'm also trying to stop doing that, stop picking up things just because they're $1. This took over a year to sell, and it ended up selling for $16. So that still left me a profit of $11.80, which sounds okay for a $1 investment, but when it's taking a long time to sell, maybe not the best use of my time to list something like this. And I was also, as I was reducing prices on Sunday, I was marking some items not for sale that had been listed for more than 2 years and were listed for like less than $18 because I just didn't want to reduce them and then send out offers after that and end up selling it for $8. I just want to be done with those items. My point with that is that I almost delisted this, but instead I marked it down $2, and the buyer got the alert that I marked it down, plus Poshmark paid for the discounted shipping, I believe. And so that was enough to prompt her to buy it, which is great. $11 is better than no dollars, or, you know, maybe I could have got a couple dollars for this at a yard sale, but I'm not sure. Okay, and I finally had a sale on Chairish over the weekend. It has been 2 weeks since I had a sale on there, and I mentioned this last week, but I had a sale going on in my shop there of 20% off. And during the entire time of that 20% off sale, I didn't sell a single thing. So that is kind of weird. And then the day after the sale ends, I get an offer for this item. And so I accepted it. So it is a set of 6 of these gorgeous goblets. And these are by Tiffin, Tiffin. I used the Google Lens Google image search to look these up to find out what they were. I bought them just because I thought they were gorgeous, really beautifully made. Are these? Yeah, these are crystal too. So these ended up selling for $150 plus a $15 packaging fee, so a total of $165. I paid about $8 for these, I think. My records. I just had a couple sets of green glasses, and so I'm not sure which one these were, but I'm pretty sure I got these in an estate sale for $8, somewhere between $8 and $12. I generally don't pay very much for my glassware. So my fee on Cherish is 22%, so that made my profit $124. I am thrilled with that. Really excited to have a sale on Cherish because typically I have better, profits on there. Hopefully I get some momentum going and start having sales on there again. So that's it for today, but don't go anywhere. This video will continue with what else I sell this week. As always, if you haven't already subscribed, I would love it if you would consider subscribing. That way you won't miss out on any of my future uploads. Also, if you could give this video a thumbs up and comment down below, both those things really help me out. Hey again, it's Tuesday and I have 2 more things to ship out. One of them sold on Chairish, and I'm going to be taking the glassware from yesterday to UPS, so I wanted to ship this out as well. So I thought I would film again today. The first item that sold on Poshmark, and it is this little sterling silver bracelet. If you can see, it has some textured detail, and this is by Milor or Milor, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. It's M-I-L-O-R, and it's from Italy. And this particular, I'm not sure if it's the brand or the location. I guess I need to look that up. But when your item is marked Milor, Italy, it can increase the value of the item pretty significantly. This ended up selling for $50. I am very happy about that because I got this at the $890 estate sale, or the estate sale that I spent $890 at. I haven't got to say that for a few weeks. I haven't been selling quite as much stuff from that. So I only paid $3 for this. So after posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $37. I'm really happy about that. This is a repeat buyer too. She bought something last week, I think, too. So Natalie, if you are a subscriber, I really appreciate you supporting my channel and my business. It means a lot to me. Maybe she's not, and she just found a couple of things that she liked from my closet. Either way, I am super thankful for people supporting my business. Okay, the next thing is the item that sold on Chairish, and it is just this set of salad tongs, and they have teak handles. They still were in the original box, so that's one of the reasons I picked them up. Also because I went through a phase where I had this obsession with these mid-century salad tongs, and I was picking them up at every thrift store and estate sale that I found them at because they were usually only a couple of dollars. I only paid $2 for this set, and it sold for $82 on Cherish. I have sold 1 or 2 other sets of these tongs, always for pretty great prices, so I guess it was worth it to pick them up along the way. I do have a couple sets at my house too that I use. So after Cherish's fee and my cost of goods, that made my profit $61.62. I can't remember if I said this yesterday, but if you are new to my channel, I have the Cherish Seller's Guide linked in the description box below, and it tells you everything you could want to know about selling on Cherish. I also have my video about packaging breakables linked in the description box, so if you are new to shipping breakables, that can give you some tips on how to get them to safely arrive to your buyer. I typically, Cherish uses UPS for their shipments, and I find that they are easier on packages than the post office. So anytime I have a breakable, I typically use UPS to ship the item. Knock on wood, I think I've only had 1 item break in years and years of shipping through UPS. So I think that shows, obviously I package my items very carefully, but that they are pretty careful with the shipments that they have. So that is it for today, but don't go anywhere. I will be back tomorrow or the next day to share what else I sell. Hey again, it's Wednesday and I've got a couple more things to ship out. I'm shipping every day. If I didn't already mention this, because we're leaving for Hawaii later this week, and I just want to keep on top of things and get things moving, because I'm going to be putting my closet on vacation mode for a couple of days. I have mentioned this in a previous video, but when I am gone for more than 5 days, I will put my closet on vacation mode for a portion or all of that, depending on the circumstances. So for this, we are leaving Saturday morning, so I will put my closet on vacation mode Friday night, and then I probably will leave it on vacation mode for 3 or 4 days, and then I'll turn my closet back on when I will be back in town to ship within 5 days or less. So I'll be back and I'll be able to ship on next Saturday. So I'll probably open it back up on Tuesday or Wednesday, and then I put a notice at the top of my closet and on my Meet the Posture page, letting people know when I will ship items. Knock on wood, I haven't had any issues with that in the past, and so that just allows me to be able to still have some sales on Poshmark while I am away. On Cherish, you can put your shop on vacation mode and people can still purchase items, and it automatically tells them when you will be back from vacation and ship. I wish that Poshmark would put into effect something like that so that we could keep making sales while we are away. Okay, on to what I sold. I had a couple of good sales. So the first item, both items sold on Poshmark. This is a vintage Catherine Holm piece of enamelware, and I believe this is called a shrimp plate. It's a little more uncommon than some of the other pieces. If you look up Catherine Holm, some pieces go for a lot of money, some pieces go for okay money. This sold for $80, but it did take a long time to sell, over a year. I had it priced higher than that because I thought that this was an uncommon piece. So I'm happy that it finally sold, and the buyer was really excited. She said she was getting it for her mother-in-law, who I assume collects Catherine Holm. There are a lot of collectors. And this enamelware comes in numerous different colors. If you're curious about keeping your eyes out for it, I would just Google that, Catherine Holm, and HOLM. And you'll be able to see more of what her pieces look like. Okay, so like I said, it sold for $80. I paid about $3 for it, so that made my profit $61. I'm very excited about that. Oh, also, it is officially winter here, so you'll probably see me wearing coats a lot in the videos from now on. That is because I work out of an old building, and it has these big heaters that are kind of like things that you would put in a garage, and they don't put out, you know, kind of like even heat. And also I don't leave them on high when I'm not in the shop. So it's cold in here. That's why I am wearing a coat all the time. They're also very loud, so I don't like having them running while I am on video because it just kind of makes a loud, and the heater is literally right above me, so it just makes a loud noise. Okay, so the next item is this somewhat vintage brown leather bomber jacket, and this is just by St. John's Bay, which isn't necessarily a great brand, but brown leather bomber jackets were selling pretty well for me. And this was at an estate sale for only $1. It was in really nice condition and had, you know, all of the key features that people look for in a bomber jacket. So I picked it up. Let's see, I think that this took roughly 6 months to sell, and it sold for $60, which is really great considering I only paid $1 for it. And interestingly enough, this was a sale that I didn't get to early, and so some resellers, dang this tape, some resellers had already gone through the closets and skipped this and a really cool vintage wool, like fisherman's sweater. So I got both of these pieces for $1, which I was really happy about. And I think that this same sale is also where I got those Born boots that I sold last week or the week before, I can't remember. And those were also only $1. So that turned out to be a pretty good sale, even though I didn't get there early or first. So last winter I did really, really well with brown leather bomber jackets. Maybe they were kind of more of a trend then, and they're just not as trendy now, but I'm happy with 60 bucks. And after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $47. Couple pretty nice profits. And so far, you know, this week hasn't been amazing, but it's been much better on Poshmark with having like daily sales than it has been for the last few weeks. So I am pretty excited about that. And speaking of nice profits, well, this isn't official yet, but the patio set that I drove a couple hours to pick up last week, I got it listed, and I listed it for $5,495. I paid $200 for it. Of course, there's no guarantee that I'm going to get that high of a price, but it is in absolutely beautiful condition considering its age. It's a designer piece. So fingers crossed, you know, even if I sell it for $2,000 with the $200 investment, that would be amazing. But I'm going to start high and then maybe reduce it when we get closer to summer to kind of, you know, refresh the listing, and or hopefully it just sells sooner than that to someone in California or Palm Springs, or let's see where else, somewhere in Florida. Hopefully it just sells quick and I make big bucks on that. I'm going to think positive. So that is it for today. I'm getting so excited about going to Hawaii. I did check the weather and it looks like there might be a couple of cloudy days, but it's Hawaii, so I think it can't be too bad. It's still going to be 80 degrees, and I'm just really, really excited to relax and walk around, lay out at the pool, look at the ocean. Oh, I'm just so very, very excited. Okay, don't go anywhere. I'll be back with what else I sell this week. Hey again, it's Thursday and I've got 4 more sales to ship out. It's been a pretty great week, which is a relief because I'm going to be gone, and so it's just nice to have a decent week before I go out of town. So I had another sale on Chairish, and it is this vintage leather covered decanter. Now, this was not the best buy on my part, although it did end up selling for $53. The reason that it wasn't a good purchase is, as you can see, it is very distressed, chips, all the stuff. But I don't know, I just thought it was so cool. I couldn't pass it up. It is marked made in Italy. I don't know, this took probably about a year to sell, so definitely not worth, you know, definitely not a wise pickup, but it sold nonetheless. I paid $6 for it. So after Cherish's fee and my cost of goods, that made my profit $37.10. I'm happy to move this along, and I hope the buyer loves it. I put, pictures of everything and said that it was distressed, worn condition. So hopefully they read it and looked at the pictures. Okay, I'm going to move this out of the way. And then I had 3 sales on on Poshmark. The first sale was this little dainty necklace, and it's a little purse, and it's a locket. It opens at the bottom. See if I can get it to open like that, so you could put a little picture in there, I guess. This is sterling silver, if I didn't already say that. I think this is really cute. It was given to me, but it's just not really, my style, I guess, or something I would wear. So I decided to sell it. It's been listed quite a while, possibly 2 years. So I'm happy to get it out of here. It sold for $44. I think there was discounted shipping on this. Like I said, it was given to me, so my cost of goods is $0. So that made my profit $32.32. That's great. Happy to move it along. Again, I hope the buyer loves it. I'm starting to feel a little, yesterday I was really excited about, you know, going on vacation. Today I'm starting to feel a little stressed just because, you know, there's always loose ends to tie up when you have your own business, and I don't have anybody who works for me who can really cover for me. So I have to get everything in order before I go out of town. I put my Cherish shop on vacation starting today because I didn't want to have to worry about selling something big and hard to package on the last day before I'm leaving. But in putting it on vacation, I realized I won't be able to ship again until December 16th. So there's no chance that people can get their items before Christmas because I use Cherish's shipping option, and they ship UPS ground, which almost always takes 10 business days unless it's in the Pacific Northwest, really near me. So that just was kind of upsetting because that really limits or reduces the amount of potential sales that I might get for Christmas type items. But it is what it is. You know, I guess I just need to be thankful that I've had such a great year, and it still should be fine, even if I don't have those sales come through. Another belt sold, which is really, you know, even though they're not big money sales, I love selling belts, and I'm happy to see them moving out again. So this is a somewhat vintage fossil belt, and this was listed fairly recently, within the last month or so. It ended up selling for $30. I really liked this one because it had that kind of sunburst pattern on it, and it had studs, so I was able to use a lot of keywords. I used hippie, boho, Y2K, distressed, studded, as many keywords as I could think of. So this really had a lot going for it. Genuine leather, of course. Like I said, it sold for $30. I paid about $3 for it. So that made my profit $21. That's great. That makes me happy. I don't know why I like selling belts so much. I think maybe because it seems like no matter where I go sourcing or thrifting, I can always find belts. And so it was kind of like a guaranteed pickup, although I don't need any more inventory. So it doesn't really matter if things are an easy pickup or not. I'm hoping to hit up at least one thrift store in Hawaii and get some thrift with me footage. We'll just see how it all works out with timing, and we don't have a rental car the whole time. We just got one a few days because we're staying so centrally located that we just plan on walking everywhere and maybe taking a few Ubers if something is farther than we want to walk. And I guess I could take an Uber to the thrift store. I was just kind of, you know, hoping to go to a couple. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But so the next sale is an exciting sale. It's another pair of these Jaffa shoes. So if you guys if you haven't seen my videos about this brand, you really need to keep your eyes out for these. When you pick them up, I probably mentioned this before, but when you pick them up and touch them, they do not feel heavy or expensive necessarily. This bottom part is some sort of like plastic or resin or something. They're super, super light, but this is leather. These sold for $149 in, I think they've only been listed about a week. And every time I have listed Jaffa shoes, or almost every time, they have sold quickly for a great price. And I think before I was pricing my Jaffa shoes a little bit lower, but I have been really aggressive with my pricing. now that I've seen how coveted these are. I don't know if the brand is out of business. I need to look that up, but they definitely discontinue styles, and I think people like get a style that they really like and they can't get it. Also, it does not appear that this brand has an online presence, so it doesn't seem like you can easily purchase this brand from their website. It just seems like they sell to small shoe stores. So there is a like comfort shoe, high-end shoe store in another small town very close by me, and they sell this brand. So I think that is why more may show up in my area. But when I went to do research initially on this brand, which I guess I need to, like I said, I need to look into it more. But I found it hard to find much information about the items or a place that you could just order and buy them outright. Anyways, keep your eyes out for this brand. If you don't watch all of my videos, I did sell a pair of boots for $250 recently from this same brand, and they also sold very quickly. And this is a brand that my Goodwill does not know. So I only paid $6 for those. I got a different pair. I think they only had them priced at $4.99. I've gotten multiple pairs for affordable prices. They did have one pair that I bought that was bright purple, and they priced those at $24.99. But they must have, yeah, I don't know why they did. But anyways, I still made a great profit on those too. These ones, like I said, they sold for $149, which was the full listing price. I paid $6, so that made my profit $113.20. I always love profits like that, and you don't hear many other resellers talking about that brand, or at least I haven't. Maybe I just haven't seen it or watched, but anyways, I'm really thankful that this week has been good, and you know, because there's nothing like having a bad sales week before you go out of town to spend a whole bunch of money. So fingers crossed I have a few more sales. I am going to ship again tomorrow on Friday, and then that will be the end for this week, and I won't ship until I get back from vacation. Okay, don't go anywhere. This video will continue with what else I sell. Hi again, it's Friday, and I have 5 more things to ship out. I'm so excited that this week has turned out to be pretty great. So the first item that sold is this pair of vintage sterling silver clip-on earrings, and these are by Taxco, Taxco. I've talked about this brand or location. It's more of a location where jewelry is made. I've talked about it quite a few times on my channel. And some of the pieces, certain designers from this area can be more valuable than other designers. And you can bet that if you find a piece that is marked that and it has a really cool or unusual or bold design, that it is probably by one of the better designers, and you should use Google Lens to look it up and see what the value is. These ones ended up selling for $21, which, you know, isn't a huge amount, but I only paid $1 for them at an estate sale. So that made my profit $15.80. I did have those listed higher, but they've been listed quite a while, and it is the season of sales. So when that buyer offered me $21, I just went ahead and accepted it. Another belt sale, maybe belts are picking back up. I'm really excited. So it is this brown leather, probably hand tooled belt, and it has this whip stitch detail. Interestingly enough, I don't know if it was in this video or last week's video, I mentioned that I reduced the prices on all of my women's belts and that I was going to do the same on my men's belts, and I did that this morning. So I think the buyer also liked the item and got 10% off with discounted shipping. So this sold for $39. That's just fine. I had it priced higher because I thought it was a really cool piece, and because it had, you know, my belts had kind of been sitting, that's why I reduced a lot of prices on them. But I'm thrilled with $39. I only paid about $3 for this, so that made my profit $25.22. That's great, super great. I'm very excited to see more of my belts moving out. The next item's a pretty exciting sale. It is a Patricia Nash bag, and here it is. Sorry about the ring light. I decided to wait till later in the day today to ship so that I could get as many sales as possible. Yes, this one is new with tags before I go on vacation. So when I leave for the post office from here, I am going to put my closet on vacation mode. So this sold for $100. This was one of the items that I got at that estate sale where I spent $890. And there's just a couple of Patricia Nash bags left, I think. Oh, and a couple of the Anushka bags left. Let's see, am I gonna, yes, that'll work. So I think maybe I just had them priced a little too high. This buyer offered me that $100. I think I had it listed for $149, but because it's coming up on, I don't know what, 6 or 8 months since I listed these, and I think $100 is a reasonable price, even though this is new with tags. I paid $15 a piece for the bags at this sale. Maybe I'll do one last update at the end of the year or something about how much I made on that sale. I just cannot believe the amount I made from that sale. So that made my profit $65 on this. I am absolutely thrilled with that. And I'm sure the buyer is going to be really excited about that because it's a new bag, and that probably retailed for, I don't know, $2 something to $300. So the next item is this funky Y2K 90s Betsy Johnson bag. It's kind of like a pleather, patent leather, and it has this cool acrylic handle. This didn't cost me anything, and I thought it was, you know, really pretty iconic Y2K, so I decided to list it, and it sold for $39. I think maybe I had it listed for $44, and someone liked it and got an offer for 10% off with discounted shipping. So it sold for $39. Like I said, it didn't cost me anything, so that made my earnings $28.22. And I don't think this took a super long time to sell. I mean, it's all relative. It depends on how long you think a long time is. I think I had this listed for, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 months, so not terrible. But I am happy to move it along. Hopefully that buyer loves it. Oh, and this next item is really interesting. So it's just a backpack, and it's by Friendly Swede, and I have had this listed forever. I picked it up at a sale of a college girl who was moving back home across the country, and instead of packing her stuff, she just sold a bunch of it at a yard sale, and she had so much good stuff. I ended up paying $6 a piece. I only have this and one other item left. Everything else sold really well. This sold for $39. I didn't know this brand when I picked it up, but it looked nice and kind of expensive, and everything else there was. So anyways, the interesting thing is that recently, as I was edit next listing my closet to try and get some momentum going, I think I had this listed under men's backpacks, and I changed it to women's backpacks, and then almost immediately it sold for full price to someone, but then a couple hours later they asked to cancel, and because it was within a few hours. They said they bought it by mistake. I just was like, okay, I didn't want to argue, so I canceled. And that was yesterday or the day before. And then again, it just sold. So that shows that I should have had this listed under women's. So maybe, you know, when an item is considered kind of unisex, you want to list it under women's, because there's definitely more women that, or I would suspect there's more women that shop on the Poshmark app than there are men. So maybe if I hadn't have had it listed under men's all that time, it would have sold sooner, because this brand did have a higher retail. I can't remember what this retailed for. That made my profit $25.20. Okay, so it turned out to be really a pretty great week. My total sales for the week were $1,165. I'm really happy with that. My total cost of goods was $77, and my total profit after website fees, cost of goods, and any shipping discounts was $841.80. I sold a total of 20 items, which is significantly more items than I've sold in the previous weeks. So that made my average sale price $58.25. Anytime that's over $50, I think that is great. Made my average cost of goods only $3.85. Really, really amazing. And my average profit per item or per sale, $42.09. All really great statistics. I'm super happy. Thank you guys all so very much for watching and supporting me. If you haven't already, please subscribe. It means so much to me. Also, if you could give this video a thumbs up and comment down below, both those things really help me out. And I will see you when I'm back in tan and relaxed. All right, thanks again, you guys.